fan has had at least one experience of feeling out of place when compared with quote-unquote mainstream society, but I don't think there's ever been a really good attempt to understand why it is that people like horror. Like, most horror fans are generally normal people who have pretty good reasons for enjoying horror, but what are those reasons? The real reasons, not the ones they learn to tell people to make them leave them alone. That's what our podcast is about, interviewing people in the horror biz to find out what it is about horror that makes them happy. My name's Steve. I'm a bit of a psychology buff, and my co-host is my friend Chris, who's a horror buff, and so far we've interviewed about 60 people in the biz and had a lot of fun with it. And we wanted to share with you some of the highlights, the excerpts, mainly, some of the funny stuff, but if you want to hear the real meat of the conversations, come check us out on Apple, Google, or Spotify, or you can just use the player on our website. In this set of excerpts, we're going to be talking to podcasters Carly Sonafelt and Nikki Willams, and author Danger Slater.
I just remember being in my mom and dad's bedroom watching it because I think they had the only VCR. We still had like VCR, and it was the only VCR in the house.
Spookier.
Yeah. You would put the VHS tape in the player, and before the previews to like other movies would play, they played the tape, the cursed tape, and I was like,
that's
"What
like the
is
first
this?"
thing that comes on when you put it in.
Yeah,
So
I was like, "What the hell?" And then And then you also get a preview. I remember there was a preview on that tape for Ringu, the Japanese version. I was like, what the heck is this? I didn't just, I wasn't really familiar with foreign films. I was like, okay, this is the same movie, but like Japanese. I just remember it was the thrill of hiding. I had my hands over my eyes the whole time during these movies. I wasn't the type of kid that, could just watch anything and not be fazed by it. But that's what I liked about it is the scary aspects. And I remember going to my grandma, she was babysitting me, and I brought Scream over and wanted to watch it, and she turned it off after the intro. She was like, "Oh, you're hiding from it. You don't even, this is horrible." And then she put on Dora the Explorer, and I was mad the whole night. So yeah, that was a thing. And then what else? I remember showing my friend, my childhood best friend that I still talk to today. I showed her Halloween H2O, and she was traumatized by it and went home and had nightmares. And my mom was always upset. She was like, "These people are going to think I'm like an inappropriate parent letting their kids watch this stuff." But whatever. To me, it was I don't know. I was I never really had nightmares or anything of horror movies, so it's not like they were traumatizing to me like a lot of other kids who just, would be up late at night thinking about them. My mom, she wasn't a huge horror fan. She liked the basic slashers, but even now she's just very weak stomach. She doesn't really like gore or torture or anything super bloody or anything like that. So movies like Halloween.
Horror light.
Yes. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. She'll even today, she calls me up and she's like, "Oh, that movie was gross." And I was like, "Nothing. No, it really wasn't." That was a really big movie among friend groups. That was when we always put on the TV and watched as background or just for fun. And then we would always play that Tiptoe Through the Tulip song.
I was going to ask, that still creeps you out to this day, right?
Oh yeah. That was that's such a perfect song for that movie. It was so fitting. And I remember one night we were all at my place, me and some friends, and we turned off the lights and played that song, and kind of we're just chasing each other around and doing stuff like that. So it was a whole new world opened up, because to be honest, when I was a teenager, I remember I had some friends who would say, "Oh, my online friend from Quebec is talking to me," and I'm kind of rolling my eyes, online friends aren't real. I was one of those.
Yeah, okay.
I thought,
your online friend, sure.
Right? Yeah. You guys are never gonna
My girlfriend goes to another school.
Right? Yeah.
She's real.
Yeah, but I kind of had that mentality of you're and I feel bad saying it, but it's I thought you're a loser. You have all these online friends that have a common interest, anime or whatever, and I'm oh, that's lame, because you couldn't find them in real life. And then here I am now with all these. And these dreams are always in my head. They're always, I'm still living with my parents, and I jump out the window and I'm peace out, and then I'm running away and I'm geez, I hope they didn't kill my parents. It's so I do it. I guess home invasion type dreams are kind of go hand in hand with that, in with the running away aspect. But
well, good to know if the shit ever hits the fan, then your priorities are in order.
To be honest, I can't even say, like, in real life, I probably would do that too, because I don't want to die. I was just like,
No,
yeah,
same.
just jump out the window, and every man for themselves at that point.
Regroup later.
Right. It's really just become kind of a way of life for me, and I embrace it fully and have a lot of fun with it. And I think I literally don't know what I'd be doing right now if I hadn't, gotten into podcasts and horror films. And like, I have no idea. I'd probably be pretty boring. So, yeah.
Or just watching more films spending more time watching films.
Yeah, I guess just sitting on the couch and loafing away. So, yeah, I guess I'm just trying to say, like, horror movies are great, and the horror community is great. They're all nice people, and I just love being part of this world. So
my dad was really leaning into this, and he said there was an axe murderer. Yes, he said that there used to be an axe murderer that lived in our house, and that he disappeared. And no one knew where he went. And he said he hears him sometimes underneath the staircase. So if I'm walking down the stairs, yeah. So if I'm walking down the stairs, this guy's going to pop out and get me. And to this day, if I say the basement, he'll bring up the axe murderer. He's like not backing down. I'm almost 40 years old. He's not backing down.
Committing to the bit. Nice.
I used to have sleepovers. This only happened one time, but this kind of ties into that. I had a sleepover and we were in the basement, me and my friends, and they had finished it up and there was a window on the side. And in the middle of the freaking night, it was like 1 a.m. He went outside and started tapping on the window and like scratching on it to freak us all out.
Nice touch.
Yeah,
that's good.
Nice. My favorite costumes. Oh my. We were so poor. Like when I was real little, we were poor. We got my parents got better jobs, I guess.
My favorite costume was having a costume.
Yeah, well, my first one was basically the dollar store. It was a Reese's peanut butter cup, which you're like, how can someone be a Reese's peanut butter cup? Well, it was terrifying because your body was a candy bar wrapper, and you had one of those cheap plastic masks on your face that just cover the front part with the string, but it was a peanut butter cup man with a big old like clown smile on his face. It was fucking weird looking.
Is this your favorite or least favorite?
Yeah, that's my most traumatic one.
Okay. We'll talk about his least favorite. Was there a costume that didn't terrify you, or what was a good one?
I dressed up as my teacher one year, who was completely unamused by it. He had like a big beer gut and a mustache, like a kind of Guido-y, Italian-y looking like slick mustache.
Was he able to recognize that you were dressing up as him?
I think so. Yeah, I wore the Dockers in a a little button down and everything. And if he didn't recognize it, I definitely made sure he knew what was going on. And he did not find it very amusing. So,
which is the highest form of flattery. What's up with that?
I don't know. Yeah. It was a hit with the other kids in my class. That was really what I was going for.
Yeah. Let's see. Nothing else terrifying in real life. No scary dreams.
Oh my god! I found it. Jesus, that is terrifying.
What? The costume.
The Reese's cup. Yeah, that's. Oh my god. Hey, does it come with a first prize ribbon? That's fucking weird.
Yeah, you're the best. You're the best Reese's man. Yeah. It also was scratch and sniff.
Oh no!
Oh my god! Are you serious?
Scratch and sniff here.
So everybody's leaning over and smelling you because you smell like a peanut butter. So all the adults are like sniffing me.
Creepiness of the costume aside, I can see how that would be traumatizing because you're going out on Halloween dressed as the thing that everyone eats.
And all the parents are leaning into you going,
Georgia boy.
Oh god. I'd never heard of this before, but yeah, that's awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, Reese's should bring if you're out there listening, you should bring that back.
Yeah, it's terrifying. Very
if I ever have kids, I am making them wear that for their first Halloween,
whether they want to or not.
Yeah, my father was a Reese's peanut butter cup. I was a Reese's.
Oh God,
my father before him.
Yes,
he come from a long line of peanut butter cups.
Oh boy.
It feels important because it is important. And then in the 3 a.m., you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, I'm going to die and nothing means anything, and then, although I did hear somebody say something really that says, don't listen to anything your brain tells you between 2 and 6 in the morning.
Very good advice. Yes.
I like that.
Yeah. So so when I wake up and I have existential terror, I'm just like, you know what? This is just my brain. It's 3:30 in the morning. It's just being weird. And just got to go back to bed. Let's see how we feel in the morning.
Yeah. Go to sleep, brain. You're drunk.
Exactly.
Starting with childhood, what are some of your earliest memories of scary things?
Well, growing up, my mom and dad let me and my sister watch whatever we wanted to watch. So I have a lot of memories watching horror at a very young age.
So like Cannibal Holocaust at 3, the usual.
Not quite that. I actually still haven't even seen that one. And I do have boundaries when it comes to horror films, but I have seen a high range of different genres in the horror community. Mm-hmm. And when I was 4 years old, my mom actually took me to go see Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4 in the theater. Cool. And I remember my uncle was with us, and ever since then, I have always been a huge fan of Freddy Krueger, and just have a lot of fond memories of watching. I even remember watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2, and I would actually reenact that movie with my Barbie dolls. it can be done.
Picture this little girl with 2 Barbie dolls, like, lick my plate, you dog dick.
No, I loved the main woman in that.
Stretch. Yeah, she was great.
Yes, she was my favorite. And I love the DJ setup of that film, and it's just a fun horror film.
It is.
I have a lot of fond memories of Halloween.
Did you have a favorite costume?
Yes. I was Miss America when I was in 2nd grade, and my grandpa actually made my crown for me, and also the banner that they wear around the sash. Yes, he made the sash and the crown for me, so it was very special.
Yeah.
Nice. Least favorite costume?
Oh, there was one year I just attempted to do my own makeup, and it was terrible. I have gotten better at doing my makeup, but that was in 7th grade, and I just bought one of those makeup kits that you'd get at the Halloween store, and there's photos somewhere, but it just was not good. I don't even know what my joke. I think it was just like a different form of the Joker. I don't know. I really do enjoy going and buying costumes. I've been Marilyn Monroe. That was a lot of fun. And my makeup skills did get better. I did do, I was a skeleton one year, and I did my own makeup, and I did win the costume contest that at the Halloween party that I went to, which was for my family. Nice. So that was fun.
Any least favorite costumes in your adult years?
Least favorite? Probably the years where I didn't wear one and I was just lame.
yeah, checks out.
I have watched that movie more times than I can count. I love it. I love the characters. I love the dynamic with the vampires. I love how they look. I love the soundtrack. It's always near and dear to my heart.
What do you love about the characters?
Well, I always had the biggest crush on Charlie. He was my childhood crush growing up. And I actually even had an invisible friend that I named Charlie, and even told my told my grandma, he's coming to dinner, set a plate for him. And, and she would actually set a plate, and I'd be like, you have to put food on his plate. She goes, we're not putting any food on his plate.
Look, I went this far. I got the plate out. All right. That's good enough.
Right?
Yes.
So you also mentioned some sort of dynamic in Fright Night. What was the dynamic?
I love the dynamic between Jerry Dandridge and Amanda Burse. Like, I thought those two together in the film was very sexy. And like the dance club scene, that is one that I always just swoon over. It was, I don't know, I think it was like the love triangle. Like, you have the bad boy vampire, and then you have the boy next door, Charlie, and it's like she's going for the you know, the not so safe option that she's intrigued by.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe better word instead of dynamic would be the drama.
Probably, yeah.
Tension.
That was almost like a guilty. Probably. It wasn't a judgment. It was just an observation. So yeah, come check us out over at horrormakeshappy.com, or check out some of our other excerpts until you find someone whose interview you do want to hear.